Good morning, this is ET from somewhere in cloudy Australia. Occasionally we may get rain, we never know. With climate change, who knows what sort of climate we can get. Whatever the climate we get, we're going to be unhappy about it, that's for certain. Only on sunny days are we happy. So if we want climate change, it's going to get hot and sunny. That's the only time people are really happy. So one wonders what they're complaining about. But I'd like to sort of make a point about the Greens, the left, who are totally against action on climate change. Let's make it specific. Let's make it clear. The Greens in Australia are so much against action on climate change. They will try to jeopardize the economic future of the country, try to enrich millionaires who they work for in financial institutions, financing windmills and solar panels in means that go against good economic sense. There's nothing wrong with windmills or solar panels other than the way it's been applied economically, which the Greens are part of, same as the Liberal Party and Labour Party. They're all in it together against action on climate change. This is the point. Coal is a long way from being dead. It is only within Western democracies dominated by climate perverts that politicians bow to the rubbish math of climate change fanatics. That Australia can change the climate by having nothing to do with coal is the greatest lie ever said since the beginning of human beings being able to speak at all. It is the greatest lie ever that Australia can affect the climate by not being involved in coal, when coal is going to be increased in volume of use per capita in China and India, regardless how much Australia reduces it, digging up of coal. This is a falsehood of the greatest economic irresponsibility ever perpetrated by corporate politics on a community. Britain imports 15 million tonnes of coal each year, for example. So here is the irony, satire and cynical truth. Australia, no doubt, must take action on climate change. But all of politics is not interested in taking action on climate. All of politics are involved in one great big financial swindle whilst pretending to be taking action on climates. That is a fact of the matter. Australia must take action on climates. It must drought-proof this country. But it's prevented by the Greens and the ALP and Liberals because they're distorting the whole economic profile, the whole fiscal future, so the funding of such basic infrastructure which supplies then the surety and food for farmers and employment in that era for all the 100 years to come is being ignored by those who advocate they're going to do something about climates, when the only real action about climates you can do is make sure that when climate goes down or it is detrimental, you are prepared for that occasion. What is the point of having knowledge about climate change if you don't take action to prepare for food shortages caused or possibly caused by the nature of the climate change? This is how dishonest the Greens are, the ALP is, and Liberal Party on the matter of climate change. Australia must take action on climate change, but it is prevented by the Greens especially, who stand steadfast against any action on climate change, and that is an absolute fact of the matter. The other political parties hold the economy to ransom to this sinister, dark and nihilistic force, hiding the reality about itself by parading its pretense about climates and gay parades and things like that. It means the whole system is held to ransom for no other point but political ones. And of course to help facilitate the fiscally funding financing of millionaires for whom the Greens work for. The Greens do not work for the poor people, they work for the ultra-rich who handle the finance of this climate change politics. That's who the Greens work for. And these things must be exposed to end this farce against society. But the ALP and the Liberal Party are complicit within this crime against the fiscal system legitimised by Parliament. They have taken no action on climate change so far, and they dare not even talk about taking action on climate change because they haven't got the will or the guts or creative ability between themselves to take action on much at all. We all know, mathematically speaking, Australia's position in regard to relative differentials in regards to climate, as in regards to China's amount of pollution it makes, it may be too complex an idea for the average politician. So it makes mathematical and economic sense to build a coal-powered power station next to a coal mine in Queensland. You can sequester the CO2 into the ground, right? And then you can create all the water by using the power from that. You can create many ways then of creating new water and desalinating water from the coast of Queensland and putting that water onto the inland, at the same time reducing the cost of energy for the north of Queensland, helping to keep employment going and helping to create employment for 30 years in a drought-proofing program for Australia by creating these power stations that send the water inland and create the development Australia needs beyond the cities to take advantage of this fantastic bit of real estate, and to give the people real hope that someone's taking real action on climate change, which at the moment the only action is to disable the economy so that when climate change happens, or whenever it does, we are unable to afford the action required because it will be too late, the debt will be too large, the enable will be in power. They would disable the people from having any power on this. And that's all it's all about, disabling the people. You can forget all political spin, stick to facts and evidence. The Greens are against action on climates. That's the fact of the matter. They're aided by the ALP and Liberals who stand against lowering costs, creating employment in infrastructure, which is suggested by the IMF and everyone else as the next step in boosting global economies. These people are so far in the past, so much they edge up their backsides, they can only see bullshit. That why are we voting for corporate politics when it acts against the people? Unless the people become involved in this in some sort of cooperative where they become cooperative themselves amongst themselves and parties work with them, not against them, well, democracy has no meaning when corporate politics votes only for itself, to finance itself and other mates in corporate systems, and ignores the need to create static capital growth within the community to ensure that massive fiscal downturns and what have you don't cause massive poverty, for which the Greens are responsible of creating. Certainly the Liberals are helping them, have become the Greens of the future, and the ALP is having some thoughts about where it's taking itself. There may be some hope in there in the future. It's starting to wake up, because we are at a flux in time, and it's time to take action on climates, get rid of the Greens, do something about the water, create lower energy costs, and create employment. And greening Australia is taking action on climate change. Thank you. This is ET from cloudy Australia. Love you all.